friends, and welcome back to my channel. So I don't know about you, but when I started painting, I would sit down, pull out my paints, start mixing colors together, and none of my colors would come out the way I wanted. Now, I would get lucky every once in a while and mix the exact shade that I needed, but it didn't happen very often. As a new painter, it can be very, very frustrating trying to mix colors and not understanding why they aren't coming out the way that you want. One of the reasons it was so hard for me to mix colors was because I had gaps in my knowledge and understanding of color theory. So, what is color theory? Color theory is the understanding of the relationship of color and the practical applications of mixing and using color to create pieces of art. For this 3-part color theory series, I will be focusing on understanding the relationships of colors, the effect colors have on each other, color mixing, and choosing color schemes for your pieces of art. So let's go ahead and start off with the first part of this series, the relationship of colors. And to understand that, we need to talk about the color wheel. So what is the color wheel? The color wheel is a visual aid that shows color hues organized in a particular and logical order. These days, there are a lot of color wheels. And sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to know where to start. So let's keep it simple and focus on one color wheel, this one. This type of color wheel is what's known as a pigment color wheel. This color wheel is made up of 3 different sets of colors: primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. The pigment color wheel is also what's known as the traditional artist color wheel. Traditional art materials combine colored pigments that are derived from either natural inorganic earth minerals or synthetic organic lab-made pigments and combined with a binder to create pastels, many different types of paint, and colored pencils. This color wheel is going to be the most useful to painters. So let's break down the color wheel. The primary colors are any colors that fall into the red, blue, and yellow color families. These 3 are considered primary colors because they cannot be created by mixing any of the other colors on the pigment color wheel. You can create the other colors by combining different amounts of red, blue, and yellow together, but you can't create the primaries by mixing the other colors. So you can't mix green and orange together to create red. Secondary colors are created by combining 2 primaries together. So red and yellow make orange, blue and red make purple, and yellow and blue make green. Tertiary colors are colors that are between primary and secondary colors. So this would be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and red, violet. Can't talk about the color wheel without mentioning complementary colors. Complementary colors are colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. The complementary color for red would be green, for blue that is orange, for yellow that is purple. They are considered opposites of each other and contrast one another. Complementary colors can add quite a bit of depth to a painting when used in color schemes and color mixing. If you want to lower the brightness or the intensity of a color, you can add in a bit of its complementary color. You can place 2 complementary colors next to each other and they make each other appear brighter or more intense. If you split the color wheel in half like this, then it divides the color wheel into warm and cool colors. Warm colors generally tend to be red, yellow, and orange, while cool colors generally tend to be blue, green, or purple. Now, it is possible for traditionally warm colors like red to be cool and cool colors like blue to be warm, but that is something I'll go into more depth in my next video. Right now, though, it is important to know that there are typically warm and cool colors. The most important thing to understand about the color wheel is that the purpose of the color wheel is to show the relationship between pigment colors and how they can affect each other. This includes what happens when you mix certain colors together or when you place colors next to each other. It's about understanding that when you mix primaries together, they create secondary colors. That complementary colors will either intensify each other or desaturate each other depending on whether you mix them together or place them next to each other. That colors can be between the primaries and the secondaries. That certain colors are warm or cool. It's not really about choosing one set of primary colors to create every color in existence from that one predefined set. That's not even how paint is made. A variety of pigments are used to make different blues and reds and yellows, browns, greens, oranges, etc. The same pigment can even produce two completely different colors depending on their manufacturing process. It is there to guide you to the relationship between colors and how colors affect each other and how you can effectively mix colors to create interesting color schemes and bring color harmony to your paintings. So those are the basics of reading the pigment color wheel. The next video in this series will be all about color mixing, and I will show you how to use the color wheel to not only mix colors, but to identify the undertone and the temperature of the paint. That video will be out next week, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And I will see you next week with part 2 of my color theory series. Bye! For this 3-part color theory series, okay, bring it back up. Okay.